haunted library? Ghosts that whisper? A gray lady? Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for Ghost Files Debrief! Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan, and that thing over there is my partner, Shane. Shane?
We're here to talk about the Willard Library.
We're talking about the Willard Library. Any thoughts about this place before we hop into questions?
Loved this place. One of my favorite places we've ever been.
Yeah? Why?
They had a little hamster.
Do you remember his name?
Willie.
That's right, Willie.
Short for Willard.
Short for Willard. Matt did not seem to like that name if you watched the most recent episode of Road Files.
Clever.
And then somebody from Willard Library commented.
What'd they say?
I forgot what they said, but it was something very snarky. Back to Matt, and I was like, I hope he reads this.
And
I hope he reads it.
When he was there at the scene, he was probably like, oh, that's a really nice name for a hamster. And then he gets here to the safety of Los Angeles in his liberal bubble.
That's right.
And he says, I don't think that's a good name for a hamster.
Yeah, he whispers it under his mustache.
Yeah.
As he does. Anyways, I loved this place, a beautiful library, a fair amount of evidence that we caught in this one on location, which is rare. You got doing some house cleaning over there?
Remote. Oh, I got my beef wrapper.
What are you?
This is my beef stick wrapper.
Good Lord, sir.
Jalapeno beef stick.
Okay, we are going to get into some questions from you guys. We're going to look at some deleted scenes, and we are also going to be talking about that crazy piece of evidence that we missed in the Winchester episode with our wives. We did not see that when we were editing the episode, or when we, obviously until we put it up on WatcherTV.
We fucked up.
But we didn't fuck up.
We fucked up.
We're putting stuff out there so the folks over at WatcherTV could help us investigate, and that they did, because we did find one of the craziest pieces of evidence we've ever gotten. So when we were shooting our most recent batch of Ghost Files episodes in Key West, after the last shoot, I was actually scrolling through the comments on the debrief, or on the episode, on the Winchester episode, and I saw that comment. It was a comment, it was early, it was like the first hour of the video.
Yeah.
I screenshotted it.
It sent us into a frenzy at Watcher HQ.
And I sent it to everyone at work. I was like,
you said, holy fucking shit.
I was like, do we say
my balls?
I didn't say any of that. But I did say, should we say something now, or should we wait till it becomes more definitive? We got to look at all the angles, which, by the way, we are going to be looking at other angles of that moment today.
You reached out to the Winchester folks.
I reached out to the Winchester. I'm going to be there this weekend to go check out the room to see what's exactly outside of that window.
Yeah.
The folks at the Winchester themselves have also said that they don't believe it was them.
And you were going to be in San Jose anyway. He's not taking a dedicated trip. But would you?
I would have, maybe.
He would have.
I mean, that's the dedication to the craft there. But we are going to be looking at different angles of that moment, which I actually have not seen. So we're preserving that for this live. So I'm very excited to
That'll be very
take a
interesting.
look at those. That'll be a lot of thrilling footage of me silently looking at shots going, sick.
For a second, I really did think it was Emily. But then when you look at the raw footage, you see Emily standing behind a doorway, fully not.
We'll get into it when we look at the angles, but
Are you feeling good about this one? Are Shaniacs, are we cooked?
I feel pretty good.
Are we done for?
I don't know what else that could be.
I gotta be honest, when I look at that, I see a face.
You see a face, and furthermore, it is not the face of the two people that we did the interview with there.
Right.
The only other people that were in the house, so.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the update that I posted on this week's YouTube debrief, but we did reach out to the folks at the Winchester, and for a minute there, I was like, well, it's gotta be one of them.
Yeah.
But they raised a very good point in the email. They were like, even if we did peek in, if we saw you filming, we would not pop our head back up.
They wouldn't be like, oh, they're filming.
Right.
But wait,
exactly.
Let me get in here. No, and
so I was like, yeah.
Also, if you recall that the way that room is situated, we would have seen them there if they were outside of that room, because we moved on very quickly after that moment happens to another room. They would have been right there. So I don't know, man. It's pretty exciting, and I'm thrilled that you have no snarky retort or something like that. Maybe it's the beef stick that's kind of put you in a malaise, but
beef stick do sedate me a little bit.
Yeah, that's why we keep those on hand. Like he's like some sort of wild animal. I keep them in a sack.
Hey, you're not supposed to be here. Anyway, I had to pop back into the studio because I forgot my Bombas clogs. And after a long night of standing around talking to ghosts, I'm really gonna need them. honestly, when we do ads like this, they send us stuff, and they sent me slippers last year. And I was like, oh, we'll see how the slippers are. I love the slippers. I wear them every day. I bought a pair for Sarah for Christmas. That's how much I love the slippers. And now she loves the slippers too. We're a Bombas family. We all know what they're capable of in the world of socks, but it's not just socks. They've got a whole line of outdoor footwear that you simply gotta know about. Friday sandals. Now the Friday sandal is built to go everywhere you go this summer, from the pool, yard, town, or house. It's perfect for any activity. They're light and cushy. The EVA footbed is not too soft, not too hard, yet incredibly light, so you don't feel weighed down while you walk. Or perhaps if you're more of a one-strap guy, you'd prefer the men's Friday slide, which has everything you love about the original sandal. Me, I'm rocking the Friday clog. Same cushy support as our Friday slide and sandal, but with a closed-toe design and built-in air vents to keep it breezy. So why not upgrade your shoe game with Bombas? New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just go to bombas.com/watcher and use code WATCHER at checkout. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta get back out there to do some hunting. Thank you.
Anyways, in regards to the Road Files comment, I actually have it right here. My friends, this is from Lindsay Elwinger. I believe this is somebody from the Willard Library. I can't confirm that for sure. My friends, talking to us, the hamster is named Willie after Willard Carpenter, of course. I'm sure Hannah told you a whole story about it while you were holding him. He loves his wheel. Now that would be to you guys, because you guys, I actually didn't get really the opportunity to hold this hamster because I was pretty locked in.
I held him. I love hamsters.
Did they tell you the story of why they?
Yeah, and actually, it didn't make it to the Road Files episode, but during my interview, I was like, oh, it was Willie after the
Makes sense.
library.
I think that's rather cute.
Yeah.
Let's get a look at that poll.
Let's take a look at that poll.
And see
who's out there? Who's with us today?
Who's with us today?
Who?
Let's take a look.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Do you think
boy.
some of that percentage was Shaniacs who have now left my team
They've been converted
because of the face?
I've stolen them. I'm gonna collect all of your little
numbers are
Shaniacs like fucking
dwindling.
infinity stones. I'm gonna wear them on my hand.
That's a little strange to say.
Is it?
Yeah.
So much power.
So much power.
You know the noise I'll make when I put them into, just like Thanos? Just, you know?
Does he do that?
Yeah, when he puts them
He
in.
does sort of make a face.
He does
right?
kind of make a face like,
oh. That's so weird. Why do they let him do that?
Because, well, who's gonna tell him no?
I guess he's Thanos.
That's true. Well, let's move on to some questions about the Winchester episode. Let's hear from you guys. Sorry, not the Winchester episode, from Willard. I got
Library.
Winchester on the mind because of the face.
Are we going to hit that later?
We will hit that later.
Okay.
But let's get some questions from Willard because that is the investigation at hand. Starting with Aaron Viberdoff. For debrief / curiosity, like that, the library's ghost cams run 24/7, but do they get turned off during investigations? I remember D-Tune saying he takes safety precautions for live streams, so I'm curious if you guys had to do the same. We did have them stop airing the live streams while we were there, I believe.
Yes.
But I did have them download all of the footage from those cameras and keep them running so that we could use them for our evidence review and also for the episode. I don't think we really ended up using much of them because it was pretty low res, if I'm being honest. It's a webcam. So,
it's a webcam.
But it was nice to have that extra footage, and I feel very gracious, by the way, to the to the crew, because at the end of the shoot, we usually get in these very late in the night, and we had to wait to download all of that footage, and it took a while, and I was the only one left in there, and the crew was just kind of waiting to leave and go home to go to sleep. So thank you to everybody for being patient. And then Lindsay has just chimed in from Willard saying that she swears she wasn't being snarky. Good to know. Good to know, Matt. You're off the hook.
It's okay to be snarky to me.
Yeah, Matt said it's okay to be
snarky
to Matt. Matt, that's his native tongue.
I was being snarky.
He was being nasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, let's get to another question before this gets out of hand.
Our next question is from Iris Ann. Why is the Estes picking up long radio ads?
Long radio ads.
I thought it flipped faster than that to pick up clips of radio ads instead. Also, I'd love to hear from Ryan which hunt he feels marked the
this
transition between debilitating fear and that fear easing up. ...
Okay. Really making a meal out of those ellipses.
I'm like Pac-Man.
Yeah, nom, 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 nom. That's really good. He hunts ghosts too. Or
That's
actually, I
true.
guess the
Whoa.
ghosts hunt him until you get that transforming
And then he
thing,
go, nom,
and
nom,
then
nom,
he
nom,
goes
nom,
nom
nom,
nom nom
nom,
on the
nom.
ghosts as well, just like us. We just like Pac-Man. Anyways, the first part of the question, the long radio ad, that isn't a long radio ad. You're right. So we usually skip at 200 milliseconds, that means that kind of comes down to about 5 radio channels per second that we're scanning through at a rapid rate. So the idea is that if you hear any voice that continues for a second or longer than a second in some cases, that's kind of the paranormal aspect of it, if you believe in it.
But also it's going like, it's going like, if we're looking at sort of the stations,
Yes.
right? It's going like 98.6, 98.7, 98.9. Stations, as you scroll through a radio dial, the band of the station, it's strongest at a certain point, but obviously as you approach it, you can still hear it a little bit. So if it's scanning, you may hear
Good impression.
the same, thank you. You may hear the same station over the course of like 3,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
3, what are you saying, 3 seconds or 3 blips?
3 blips. Yeah, I've heard it, man.
I mean, but there have been full sentences on that thing before.
And I would like to say no.
No, yes. I mean,
He's a liar.
here's the thing. You either believe you're scanning and you're just picking up bits of radio, or the idea paranormally is that you are creating, I guess, white noise that is used to then, I guess, provide a place for spirits to speak.
You ever see that movie?
White noise?
Yeah. Michael Keaton?
No, I haven't seen it.
Me
Have you?
neither.
I've seen Jack Frost, though. It's really
That
funny.
one's good.
Dies and becomes a snowman. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Dies in a car accident.
And then becomes a snowman.
Was going to be
Anyways.
George Clooney.
And he's an
Do you know
alcoholic.
that?
He's
Do you know that?
That's actually better.
Well, the snowman,
making me some Nespresso.
go look at, not relevant to Willard Library. Maybe they have DVDs there. Look at the snowman in Jack Frost. He looks exactly like George Clooney.
I'm looking in my mind palace right now, and he looks like a snowman.
And he looks like George Clooney. Can we get him on screen?
Maybe we'll get him on screen later.
Please.
Shane's not going to let it go. I don't think the snowman
We'll
looks
get him
like
on
George
screen.
Clooney.
No, he does.
It's also funny because, like, I think, didn't he died in a car crash, right? And was he like,
He wasn't an alcoholic. He was a touring musician.
I thought he was drinking and driving. Anyways, moving on to another question. We'll pull up that picture of George Clooney, the snowman. This comes from Kadon Rawson for Debrief. Ryan, oh wait, I didn't answer the other question. I'll get that as well. Kadon Rawson for Debrief. Ryan, how sure are you about using phone apps for your ghost hunting? Do you actually trust them? Double trust. Let's answer the other question first about when my fear eased up. I don't think there was a particular episode. I just think over time, honestly, I will say the first alone experience was the time when I started to kind of calm down. I think because I was forced to,
Yeah.
because I couldn't run. I had to stay there. And that really kind of hammered home the idea that I am just talking to people,
That's nice.
which is really nice.
Unless it's a demon.
Yes, unless it's something that's not nice.
Right.
But everything that was at Sorrel Weed when I did that alone was supposed to be nice, even though they always say like, oh, there's one person here who may have dark intentions. I don't know, that place felt friendly to me, except for the upstairs quarters where I was talking shit to the Sorrels because, hey, fuck them, right? But moving on to this question, which was what again?
Phone apps.
Phone apps, yes, phone apps. I think I don't usually trust them, to be honest. The reason why I trust the GhostTube one more is because it's basically similar to the same train of thought, I would say, as a Connect. So like the SLS cam that we used before was huge. It was like used like a tablet, like a Microsoft Windows tablet, and it was connected to an Xbox 360, I believe, Connect,
Yeah.
which is trained to recognize human figures even in total darkness because they use
yeah.
IR beams. The phone app uses LiDAR, which is actually a more advanced version of that because it's, more modern tech.
Is that what it uses to scan the crannies of your face? when it does
Exactly.
face-
So it's recognizing human objects. Basically the same idea as you would get with the Kinect. So if you're picking up something there that maybe we can't see, but maybe a machine could see, I think that is somewhat compelling. But in terms of like, there are some certain phone apps, they're like, send us an image on this phone, you know, and then like it'll send
a lot of other Ghost Hunter use them. I think D-Tune uses them. When we did I don't know if you've seen the video we collabed with Kelsey Davies, invited us along to go on a hunt. She was using I think she used an app at some point.
She did.
We don't really, I mean, I've seen people say like, you guys need to be more rigorous with it. But to me, to the Shania, it's all garbage. So I don't have any standards for this.
I mean, everybody
is what you have to understand about me.
I don't think us not using certain phone apps makes those any more legit or illegitimate, to be honest. I think everybody uses different tools. Everybody has different clubs in their golf bag. And for me, I only use it for that one purpose. But if anybody else uses it for other purposes, good on you. That's just not how we operate. I'm just saying that because I don't think I could speak from any place of being an authority on this subject, because I'm just out here trying to find those.
You're just a guy.
Like,
let's take a look at Jack Frost.
Oh my God.
That's George Clooney.
You know what?
Yeah, you see it.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows. But he honestly does look a little more like Michael Keaton.
He was attached.
He looks like Michael Keaton.
It even has George Clooney's little cork nose.
Yeah, but he has Michael Keaton's eyebrows more so than.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
those are Clooney eyes.
Okay, I would love. I'd love to get a picture of Michael
Keaton's eyebrows are like 6 inches tall. They have like a 6-inch tall
Those
arch.
Are arched eyebrows.
He goes, "I'm Batman. You want to get nuts?"
That's exactly his line reading.
He's like, "This is my."
That's Jack Nicholson. You're the Joker right now. You have more Joker energy.
He's like, "I'm Batman."
That's not it.
That's pretty good Keaton.
No, it's awful Keaton.
That was really good.
If you had done that impression to an audience and asked them to guess 100 times, no one would guess Michael Keaton.
And let me do my George Clooney. Let me do my George Clooney.
Okay.
Are you ready?
That's Jay Leno.
No, that was George.
That's Jay Leno.
Leno's this.
You just did the same thing except added audio. It's literally the same thing.
You saw him the other day.
How about this? Channel George Clooney up in the air. Go. Okay.
That's it.
We'll give you a call.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. Moving on to the next question.
Next question. This one's mine. James, question for debrief. Section at the desk with the SLS cam, I can only assume that the activity behind the desk is the SLS cam picking up your shadows. You can see that you're casting several with the way the lighting is set up. It's just a thought, as it's designed to detect humanoid figures. Now, I could be wrong, as I have never used one myself. Let me know what you think. Loved the episode, one of my favorites you've ever done.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was one of my favorites too. I had the same thought when I was in there. So if you notice in the solo, I am shooting using the SLS phone app from a straight on perspective, in which case our shadows are being cast and it would pick up our figures. And that was definitely on my mind. So later, that's why I moved to the side so that our shadows wouldn't be cast. So I was shooting with the backdrop being kind of the bookshelves in the background and the black abyss of the library so that we couldn't see our shadows. And even then the SLS picked it up. And that's why I thought it was compelling. But if I did not get it from that other angle, I would agree with you.
Cool. I don't know.
Okay.
Great question, Dan.
It is a good question. It's very observant. To be honest, I think that's a great question. Moving on to the next question, though. Steph K. For the debrief, Shane, your energy this episode was next level. Do you purposely go in with the mindset to ham things up or mess with Ryan to keep your night of talking to air more entertaining? Or did you just have a lot of coffee this night?
I think it's a number of things. This location we had to drive to. It was, we were staying...
Hour and a half.
Staying in Louisville. And then it
drove to Evansville.
It was close to like a 2-hour drive, was it?
I think it was like an hour and a half. It wasn't too bad.
It was a while. Yeah. And so my energy was it was a little fired up.
Well, we were just pounding Celsius in that car.
We were pounding. I was drinking a lot of coffee. And then we ate Culver's beforehand.
You had a Celsius this night.
And I did have a Celsius.
This was the first night you'd had one too.
And it was really good. They're really great. Whatever they're doing over there.
There's no Celsius representative with a gun behind the camera. He's saying this on his own volition.
I loved it. And I just let it surge through me.
And you had it at the beginning of the night when we were setting up, if you recall, because they gave us that room, which was really nice, by the way, because normally when we go to these places and we have our little green room where we set up our stuff, and create a makeshift base camp.
Oh yes, this was a nice room.
We don't have tables. And
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of space. So like I'm usually on my hands and knees sorting through all the equipment. Here we had
He gets on his hands and knees for you.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I
He does that.
wasn't fishing there, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I do. Yes, this was, now that I'm picturing that room, because I was like, when did I have the Celsius?
It was
I'm
there.
remembering
It was
this
there.
sort of being like, oh, so you guys you really like these, huh? Pretty good? We'll try one. And then I was like,
Yeah.
let's hunt.
You felt it surging through your
Yeah,
veins.
it's good.
And I think this was night 2 in a row of ghost hunting too,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because then we had an off day and then, yeah. Okay, moving on to the next question.
No,
hey, Noah.
Nightingale. For the debrief, did you have enough time to look at the books? And did you spot one that you want to highlight? I
Oh,
could get
man.
lost between those shelves forever. I am so jealous that you could walk around there at night.
Yes. Okay, so this actually, I don't know if it might make it into the extended version of this cut. I'm not positive, but there was a moment where when I was exploring, I can't remember, I think it was the special collection section of the library, which is, I think, is the second floor. There was a bookshelf that was encased in glass. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is where they keep their like first
I didn't even
editions.
see this.
So what it actually was it was a bookshelf full of like some of the most like, it was one of the most impressive collections of abolitionist books
Oh, wow.
in the country. And so this library is known for housing these specific books from and apparently the reason why is because Willard himself was rumored to be involved in the Underground Railroad.
Whoa.
And so he had a whole just bookshelf full of all these amazing historical books about that time. And yeah, I think that should make it into the extended. If not, we could maybe put it somewhere else, but it was very impressive.
Book files.
Shout out to Willard if that's true. If he actually was involved
we
in
appreciate
the
it.
Underground Railroad.
You also said, I'm a little sad that you didn't bring this to my attention, being a dickhead. You didn't tell me there was a first edition Moby Dick there.
Yeah.
I'm dick pilled. As of last year, I got
Shane is big on being dick pilled.
I got big into Moby Dick. It took me a while. I got kind of bored in the middle, but I kept going. And then by the end, I was like, that's a banger.
They did have a first edition of Moby Dick
I can't believe I
there.
didn't fucking see that
It
thing.
was pretty crazy. Oh, maybe you should just use your eyes. I don't know.
I don't know. I was focusing on the ghosts.
You were you were blind. You were Celsius blind.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
had a smoke screen in front of your eyes. Let's move on to another question. Oh, Elvira.
Yeah,
The Elvira?
that's crazy.
Question
You
for...
should get to your booth at Midsummer Scream a little quicker next year.
Okay, that is crazy to say.
She made people wait.
Man, come on now. Elvira is a legend. No need to tear down a legend here. What's wrong with you?
You know,
I'm gonna spray you.
schedules are important.
Don't make me spray you with the hose.
People were waiting
I'm gonna
for a
spray you
long
with
time.
the hose. I'm gonna squirt a water bottle at you like a cat. You shut your mouth. Somebody on the prompter said Shane Chalamet over here.
I love opera.
Elvira, question for Ryan. This has nothing to do with the episode, but during Listomania, you had a hand braced on, and I need to know what happened. Well, I went snowboarding, and I didn't have a fall,
Mari was out of town for a while.
and I was just, yeah, and I really got after it. But no, I guess just the repeated motion of pushing myself up, or maybe when I went to a stop and just fell down, I just tweaked my right wrist. It's still getting there. I could just now start to push on it. But yeah,
You got to take care of yourself, man.
it's an ordeal. I have no idea. But yeah, I've been sleeping with that on every night so that I don't fall asleep like this, because sometimes I do that. And it's bad.
How do you fall asleep?
Sometimes I'll be I'm a side sleeper, so sometimes my wrist, I'll just be kind of leaning on it all night.
You're like one of the Ripley clones in Alien Resurrection in the little tubes, right?
I don't recall that, but
You know,
I'm gonna assume that's an apt description
it's-
of it.
poof. Bullseye.
Yeah, that you're on a fire with that in the George Clooney Jack Frost.
It did look like him.
It did, kinda. Well, let's move on to another question. Wow!
That's a long one. We're gonna do this? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Whew. Need another beefsteak.
Get your reading glasses on.
McNamara says, I really appreciate that you guys don't make Shane do solos since he doesn't want to. And for all the other reasons you guys stated in Road Files, as much as they were so funny, the genuine enjoyment about the hunt is super important. Something I think would be really nice to fill that time while you guys split up might be some more talk about the historical elements of those places, if that's something Shane finds himself passionate about while there. Just something I saw someone else float and thought it might be really neat. There is always so much cool history to the places you choose. I would not be averse to that.
So I guess in this version, would this be something that you're...
Like while you're on your hunt,
while I'm on my
maybe
solo.
if there's like a few historical facts that have been prepared for me that I could, read through. Or
It's like the equivalent of giving a baby a rattle while I go off to do something. And here you go play with these facts. I'm gonna go look for how some
No, that
goes.
would be fun. And also, to be fair, I appreciate that a lot of people in the audience are understanding of me being like, I mean, we both were like, it doesn't make a ton of sense for me to always do solos. There are some people who are like, get him out there. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I understand.
Also, do want to make it clear that I am not forcing Shane to not do solos.
No,
Some people
no.
were like, why is Ryan making Shane not do solos? That is not true.
Ryan was like, what do you think of maybe you not doing solos? I was like, I love that idea.
I love that idea.
Well, and it also, like, I think it takes away from you. I don't know. There's something about us investigating and you going right into your solos that is, it's kind of exciting, and it keeps the momentum up for you.
It's so weird because the solos in the past had been this kind of like thing to conquer at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I think you can remember even like in the first couple seasons of Ghost Files, I would be growing more anxious as the night would go on because I would be, just counting down the time until I had to be alone. And now there still is a little bit of that fear, but it's more excitement because then I could really just focus on just really trying to make a connection with the ghosts that are there. And I've found that I've gotten more evidence in my solos now just because of that mindset shift. So it's from like an editorial standpoint too, it's also interesting that if like I were to be doing my solo and then we were to intercut that with you doing historical facts, I worry that
might be a little,
it might sap the tension out of what's happening on location. And I wonder if that's just something that maybe we prepare for WatcherTV or...
Oh, that could be interesting.
Just because like I've noticed that now that it's just one solo and there's
Is it scarier? Do you think it's scarier?
It's scarier and it just keeps everyone more involved in what's actually happening. The intercut is actually much more of a comedic device.
Yeah.
And I would like the end of these episodes to really focus on the investigation.
Yeah.
But you did do a solo on our most recent...
on our recent trip to Key West, during which we shot 3 episodes.
Yes.
I think 2 of those, one of them is like kind of a solo.
Yes.
And then in the other one, I do a full solo. So we're peppering them back in.
If there's a place that's especially horrific.
If it feels appropriate or feels like something,
Well, there was a titular character at one of the locations that demanded
one-on-one time.
attention with Shane and this person. And I'm very, very excited for you guys to see that episode. There's an aura to that entity. So
yeah, there sure is. Yeah.
I actually believe you. You're saying that like genuinely. There is.
No, I mean
You didn't feel like
I don't think so.
You don't think that you didn't feel like you were seeing a celebrity or something like that?
Not really. No.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
many celebrities who look like that.
Well, no, but I'm saying it was like seeing a celebrity though.
I guess no.
It's a guy that you guys have wanted us to talk to for a long time, so I'm very excited for you to see it. And then next question we have here is the last from the WatcherTV episode, and then we're gonna move into some live questions, followed by some deleted scenes. But let's get into this question from Apple Tater, a blast from the past. For the debrief, boys, could you maybe lower the volume a notch on the motion alarm? It's a little known fact that as well as eyes, taters have very sensitive ears.
Does Tater's ghosts?
I don't know. P.S. Seeing the body on the SLS disappear when Shane walked behind the desk and reappear at the pod, which started going off, was pretty dope. Maybe the reason Shane's never seen a ghost is because they don't like him, emitting some kind of phantom stench, perhaps. Maybe there is some sort of pheromone that you release that's like the opposite of...
Just because I primarily eat beef sticks and coffee?
No, I don't think he was talking about like an actual stench you could pick up from like a physical standpoint, but more like a spiritual, like your spiritual energy is garbage.
Getting some sass from the teleprompter here.
Like,
I don't know if it's phantom.
like
I see that.
Like with the pools at the bottom
I
of a
see that,
trash
Sam.
bag. That's what your spiritual energy smells like.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying. But sorry, I completely forgot what the question was.
Motion alarm?
Oh, the motion
Does
alarm.
sound scare ghost? Are taters ghosts?
I tell you what, that motion alarm has scared the shit out of us a bunch of times.
Yeah, it sure has.
Because I forget it's there somehow. Yes, and it is quite annoying, but it's a necessary piece of kit if we wanted to identify when something's moving. So, I don't know.
Let's see what we got here. Magpie Swallows. Hey, how are you guys recording what Shane is hearing in the Estes method? It's been really interesting hearing the audio and how he interprets it.
Yes. Okay. So that is just the actual the spirit box. It has like a speaker out, like a line out hole that you could put a headphone jack in or an auxiliary cord in. So we plug that into a cord into that, and on the other end we plug it into a Zoom recorder, which is just a field recorder that has a line in. And then from the Zoom recorder, I put my headphone in the headphone jack of that so I could hear the spirit box while it's recording through the Zoom. It's just like an intermediary.
It's like an extra, you're just putting a recorder in the middle of the connection,
middleman,
basically. Kind of cool.
It's very fun, and that way you guys could hear the responses. And we've done that
Took us
on
10
and off.
years to figure that out.
We've done that on and off throughout some of these hunts. So you'll see it pop up in some episodes and not in others, but really cool.
We did it in the Key West episodes, except for one episode where I forgot to press record.
You certainly did, and it was a great session, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad we have that. And then you looked up at me with really scared eyes, and you're just like, I didn't press record.
All right, next question. Geologist Abby.
Geologist?
Geologist Abby. Since we don't have the pod anymore, we need a debrief Obi update. Oh, Obi is doing great. I thought he was going to die last month.
I love how you're chuckling through that.
Well, he puked like 3 times in a day. He's not a big puker. He has not shown any signs of cancer, like having many ill effects on him. But last month, I was hit with this double whammy of sort of being sick for like the better part of a week. And then Obi, I was like, we were freaked out. We really thought he was going to die because when he threw up 3 times, we took him to the vet, and the vet was like, I don't know. So the vet gave him like an IV with some nutrients and stuff. What the vet did not tell us is that the IV was going to make him really sleepy. So we already thought he was like kind of sick. And then for 3 days, he sort of like seemed sort of out of it and was like crawling into his box a lot. And we were like, I guess this might be the end. He doesn't seem like he's on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
And we were like researching like, okay, in home, to put him to sleep. Then he was fine. Then over the course of like a day or 2, he was like, hi, I'm back. I'm eating. I'm happy. And we were like, oh, fuck. Sarah was like crying. We thought he was surely going to die. But so that, going to the vet a bunch, the double whammy of that, and me being sick is why we actually delayed Puppet History contingency tapes, because that week when I was supposed to be shooting stuff, I was sick. So we appreciate everybody rolling with that. We also had Listomania in the wings to premiere in its stead, and we will be we've got more of those coming out too, so that's very exciting.
Kind of ironic you have no contingency for the contingency tape.
I know. Well, we did. It was Listomania, thank God. But
have you considered that your apartment is a pet cemetery of sorts, and that's just perpetually keeping Obi?
I don't understand.
Well, because the pet cemetery brings the pet back.
Yeah.
And every time he seems to every time he gets diagnosed with something, he comes back stronger, which is great.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Something to think about.
Next question. Slug Girl. Will there be any sort of debrief or discussion regarding the Bell Witch collab with Kelsey? If not, any fun anecdotes to share about it now?
I had a great time.
We had a lot of fun. It was, as Ryan said, and we said this in the episode, it was kind of like going to a wedding after you've
had your
own wedding. Because you do your wedding and you're like, oh my God, there's so much to plan. And then you go to a wedding and you're like, oh yeah, just kick back, enjoy the vibes. And we were really just
enjoying it,
having a great time. It was a lot of fun. We probably won't do a debrief about it, but
I couldn't help myself though after a while. Like I sent them like a whole folder of like footage. I basically made my phone because I felt like I know what it's like to be in her position where you're
footage.
You're planning like all the different of ways you're going to investigate and the camera setups, and I could see just like that kind of like not frenzied way of thinking, but just kind of like everything was very fast.
Yeah.
And so I felt for Kelsey, so I couldn't help myself by I just took my phone out and was like, I'm gonna make myself a C cam.
Yeah.
And then so I got a lot of footage and got different angles for her. And then I was like, I sent up the folder. I was like, I got you some extra footage. She was like, oh, cool, thanks. And I don't think any of it made it. I don't think it was helpful at all. But it was cool to kind of just sit back, and my biggest concern was stepping on anybody's toes. I remember when we had D-Tune on the show, it was the first time we've ever had another ghost investigator on the show with us. I remember saying to him at the beginning to be himself, because I knew there would be that fear of like stepping on somebody's toes, and that I don't care. Just do you. So that was a concern of mine with the Kelsey thing, but they were lovely, and I want to go back to the Bell Witch Cave very badly. So if anybody wants to see that, let us know, because they
were super nice. They were like, hey, if you guys want to do an investigation here. It was fun.
I'm not going to be mad about being near Nashville.
We got one more question before it's Fright Court time. Let's see here. AK Sugar. Seems like a lot more activity here than the past couple investigations. How did it feel investigating a more active place using some of the new format updates?
It was thrilling, honestly. I mean, like, I get an adrenaline rush when we pick up stuff on location, like the whisper that we got in the children's room. Seeing, first off, like having Matt and Emily both hear it, say something in the moment, and then being able to have multiple angles so that we could see that Matt or Emily were not near the source of where the audio was captured. Like, you actually, in one of the clips, see Matt turn his head because the whisper is so loud.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And then it's not often that we also are able to review said footage or sound or whatever live. I actually really did toy with putting that, more of that in the episode of us reviewing the actual piece of evidence. But you got to see a lot of that if you watch Road Files, which, by the way, shout out to Emily Graham for editing Road Files. Really did a great job on this last episode. Really, so good work there. But I guess it's time for some Fright Court.
Willard Library. Is it haunted? Welcome to Fright Court, everyone.
Also, shout out Matt Rialta for making that graphic.
Beautiful. Yeah, let's get our podiums in if we can.
Brings me a bunch of joy.
We have podiums for this one.
Nice.
Great.
We have real podiums on Listomania, but this is nice.
Those podiums on Listomania are so nice. You have no idea how nice it is to talk into one of these little microphones.
Oh yeah, wait, I got you. Shane, do it again. Oh, you got to tap them. Okay.
Didn't me?
Whoever, somebody do it.
Just would you please make your
Ladies
case?
and gentlemen of the jury. Oh, be real. What? Can you get off your fucking high horse?
What?
You Bugaras. Always with this. Always with the ghosts. I don't remember a lot from this location. We went to Culver's beforehand.
It was good.
And I remember at the location, I remember thinking, there's not a lot going on here. There's really nice people. There's a really beautiful building. That's a great point that I'm thinking in my brain. Would a hamster really thrive in a haunted location? Wouldn't a ghost kill a hamster? Wouldn't a hamster see a ghost and go, eek? I respect you.
That was really compelling.
Thank you.
That was like the closing argument from A Few Good Men.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's really good. Okay, my turn now. Oh wait, I always get this wrong. Hold on. Okay, I'm on. Great. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think it's quite obvious that this place was haunted. We caught multiple things on camera and on our audio recorders. We caught a whisper that was disembodied, heard by everybody on site, was able to confirm that it was nobody in the room. And we also got somebody at the librarian's desk, both in the SLS and our little Busaby EMF device, which rarely goes off, as Shane could attest to, and he will attest to because he's under...
I attest to that.
You could attest to that. You're under oath right now, so you can't lie.
I attest to that.
Great. I think with all that being combined with all the other, I guess, circumstantial evidence that we got in this case, I don't really think that there's any way that you could conclude anything other than this is a very haunted location and very beautiful.
It was beautiful. Court is adjourned.
Let's actually go back over to the Winchester and this crazy piece of evidence that we didn't catch, but you folks over on YouTube caught. And as Shane pointed out, the folks on WatcherTV did not catch.
Yeah. Hey, you're doing your best.
Okay.
And it's not good enough.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's necessary, but let's go ahead and talk that face.
Ryan, what did Vinny eat?
What do you mean?
He ate one of your...
Oh, so there you saw it.
Right there.
What do you mean?
Up.
We've got it sort of
Down.
on a loop. Now, the thing is when it almost turns and you almost see like an ear, right?
Yeah. No, you see eyeballs, you see a nose, you see the whole thing.
What do we think about that?
What's creepy about it too is if this is in fact a ghost and not a person, there's something that's like really interesting and kind of eerie about the fact that the ghost is on its tippy toes. Because it looks like somebody on their tippy toes looking over a window as opposed to like floating around like you seem to think ghosts do.
Is there any, I don't know. They have a lot of mannequins there, right?
Yeah.
Could it be one of those?
I'm confused what you're asking. You're asking me if a mannequin is peeking its head up?
No, I mean if it's not actually moving. Is the movement, does it feel like there's movement or is the camera just sort of moving at an angle?
Are you, come on now. There's no way that would be, maybe if it was just the very tip of the head, but I mean, and you also have moments where the window's completely empty too. So
Yeah,
if
I
that was the
guess
case,
so.
the mannequin would be there, or there would have to be somebody moving the mannequin. Again, we were really, right after we shot this, we walk out of the room, we would have seen somebody pulling some shenanigans.
That's pretty
there.
crazy looking right there.
It's insane, man. I really, truly believe that we caught a ghost on camera, and it's so exciting. And I have no idea what is next here because, you know, you catch something like this and it really comes down to, because I'm positive it's nobody that worked for Winchester. We saw both of them. We know both of them were in their office.
Yeah.
So it's either a ghost or it's, you know, if somebody out there is like, we faked this. Those are the only two options, I think, when you're faced with a piece of evidence that's this compelling. And I would hope that you guys would believe us and that we would not fake anything. So I'm pretty thrilled here, to be honest.
You're tap dancing. You're tap dancing all around the Shaniacs.
I'm not going to gloat, but I am going to say I'd love an explanation.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It looks like a person. I mean, my biggest explanation would be maybe an employee, but there's their logic. Unless they did peek in, but were sort of like, we wouldn't do, they were just sort of embarrassed and like.
We would have seen them though, too, is the thing.
If it was a real person, we would have seen them.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, we walked right out and there's a door that is her secret passageway, which is, if you're looking at the footage this way, it's to my left my left shoulder. It would be, there's a door there, and then there's another door that's kind of behind where the camera is. And I mean, look, I'm going back on Saturday and I'm going to really try and map it out to see where that camera was shooting, the angle it was shooting at, to see how you could see something in that window. And I'm going to work with the Winchester to try and recreate that. I mean,
that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
You see eyebrows, dude. It's wild. It's so good.
It's almost sad. It almost breaks your heart to do it. It almost breaks your heart. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I.
What do you have?
Do you have the other clip we can show, Ryan?
Quis custodiet ipsos custodis?
This is Ren.
Who watches the watchers?
No.
Apparently me.
No.
A little Peter hovering behind Ryan's head.
No.
9:31. A recent YouTube video at the Winchester house with your wives in the seance room where the beeps and bobs are happening, because the beeps and bobs are happening in the seance room. In the Winchester house. Of course I was curious. I was going to take a peek. But now people think that I'm a ghoul and I'm here to tell you, and unfortunately you have to break the news, that I am not your local neighborhood-friendly ghoul, but in fact your local-friendly neighborhood production assistant, Ren, who was really tempted to see what was going on because there was beeps and bobs happening there. But I'm here to say and send my sincerest apologies and my mea culpas to everyone, and specifically you, Ryan. I'm so sorry.
Right.
It's okay, Ren.
Ryan, I want you to know. I want you to know that this did not occur to me until very late last night. Because I want everyone to know, Ren is an incredible PA who worked with us on Mystery Files.
That's correct.
And Ren told us after we were working on Mystery Files last season, they were like, I moved up to San Jose. And we were like, hey, we're actually shooting at the Winchester.
Yes.
Do you want to join us for Ren's in the chat. We told Ren, we're shooting up at the Winchester. If you want to hang out, do PA stuff, just shadow us.
That's right.
Come on up. So Ren is not normally part of our crew. And so it did not occur to me or anyone else
No.
who saw this
No.
for the past half a week to a week that, because we were like, well, Emily, you can see Emily in the hallway.
Yeah.
And also Ren has not been on, Ren is an incredible production assistant, worthy to have Ren on set.
Yeah.
So Ren is not used to all, Ren was keeping out of the sight of the camera, but I think that shot is probably like a GoPro just catching it, right?
Yeah. So, Matt, you weren't on the shoot, right?
Nope.
Okay. So as I was saying earlier, we had been experimenting with cutting crew down to try and ironically prevent this very thing from happening.
Yep.
So on this particular shoot, we did not have a sound mixer.
Yeah.
And we did not have a camera person.
Right.
And we opted to just use all our cameras that we could carry and my little iPhone tripod. And we were traveling extra lean. It was me, you,
Sarah Mari,
Emily, and then Ren, because Ren was in
And
town.
Ben.
No, Matt was not there.
No, Ben was.
Oh, Ben was there. Okay,
Yeah.
Ben was there. And so we opted to just kind of keep the crew small that way. And Ren was, as James said, Ren, they were great throughout the shoot and helping kind of keep things going because that place is huge. But also, like Shane said, that was a one-off situation. So that did not occur to me until right now either.
Late last night, I was looking up at the extra footage and just out of nowhere, I was like, that's Ren. That was Ren.
Yeah.
And I texted Ren late last night and I was like, was this you? And Ren was like, yeah, it's me. I was like, oh no.
Well,
So Ren very kindly sent that.
look, man, honestly, great work.
I know.
Great work.
I can't believe we didn't put that together.
No, good on you. I did
this.
not think about that. Like you had said, I'm always, we shoot so many of these and the crew that we have has largely remained the same. So in this particular instance, it was nice to have an extra hand. And
But it just didn't occur.
I'm embarrassed that I forgot about that.
I know.
But also just
I can't believe it took me that long to realize.
Oh man,
And
that's
I
heartbreaking.
knew it would break your heart, but also I know you're a man who would want to know.
No, absolutely. No, that's good work. Honestly, thank you for doing that. Man, that's a bummer.
And Ren, thank you for PAing on that shoot.
Thank you, Ren. God damn, dude. I'm so just beat down by that.
I wanted to. I knew it would be tough. It's tough to be a ghost
I
hunter.
literally was just saying this is one of the best pieces of evidence we ever caught. We literally proved a ghost is real. That's so crazy, dude.
I'm so sorry.
This reminds me of one time I remember.
It doesn't even feel good.
I remember when I was around
doesn't
like
feel
7
good.
or 8 years old.
Yeah.
My mom bought me one of those fake lotto scratchers where you win $1 million.
That's fucked.
And so she got my reaction to me running around screaming the house. I was telling my dad I'm going to buy him season tickets to the Lakers and stuff like that. And I was like crying. I was like, this is amazing. And then they had to break it to me that it was.
But would you have wanted me to tell you off screen?
No, but this my mind immediately went back to that memory. That's the last time I remember being so disappointed.
That's tough to hear, yeah. I'm Witch in the Room. Ryan, you would agree.
No, I don't think Shane's Witch of the Room. Shane did his job as the other investigator.
If I hadn't caught this,
we would have a piece of evidence that we wouldn't know is falsified.
yeah.
If anything, I'm Witch of the Room for not remembering that Ren was on set that day and for not taking a closer look at that. That's a fault of mine, and I'm a little embarrassed, to be honest.
Well, what's funny too is like when we were looking at that face earlier, I remember a few days ago, you were like, I don't get bad vibes from that.
No.
Like it's sort of you get cheerful vibes from that face.
Yeah, Ren's a very cheerful person.
Is very cheerful.
And also
a great attitude, very like.
And it didn't look like any of the folks that we know at the Winchester. So I was like, yeah, I'm positive that this, man.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you're
sucks.
seeing a broken man. That's that.
That's what you pay for. That's what you show up for, to see us break him.
Yeah.
You know? What is ghost hunting if just, it's going to break your heart one way or another?
Look, it's why we do this.
It's why we do it.
Good
we don't
work.
do it because it's fun.
Honestly, sincerely, good work.
Thank
That's
you.
really good.
Sorry, man. I am sorry.
I know you're sorry. I'm glad you did that. You helped the show.
I simultaneously was like, well, this will be good to reveal live.
Yeah.
But also it's going to be tough.
You protected the integrity of the show, so I thank you. Genuinely.
That's what I'm here for.
It's not what you're here for usually, but in this particular day.
What I'm here for.
Well, no need to gloat about it. At least you're taking it modestly.
Did they vote on what do they think this place is haunted? Let's take a look.
Does it even matter anymore? What matters anymore, dude? I don't know. Oh my God, what a gut punch.
I know.
I cannot believe that you guys got to see me react to that live. I was so stoked.
Do you need a beef stick?
I don't know what I need.
Can we get him a beef
shot
stick?
of Jack.
Yeah. Okay,
damn.
let's take a look at the poll. We got to move on from this. Hey, look at that, Ryan.
Hey, look.
They think it's haunted.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do
That's
that.
great.
This is like when you're...
Oh, no. I'm sad.
I don't like that pity. It's like when we go bowling and you're the worst
I guess you
bowler
did a
and
good one,
everyone's like,
Ryan.
hey, you did one. You got
a haunted
you hit
place.
some pins. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, for better or worse, we're going to keep things honest here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a team effort. So again, everyone should be praising Shane in the comments. He did a great
Thank you.
bit of journalistic work here. He protected the integrity of the show, and
I'm the best.
I failed you here. So
No, you didn't fail him.
damn.
You got swept away by it.
You're supposed to not get swept away by things.
Well, ghost hunting is very romantic, isn't it?
I guess I don't have to go back to the Winchester now.
You can pop in,
That's true.
tell them what you did.
I know, Amelia, maybe you're watching right now. If you're watching, hey man, it is what it is. Well, that's
What were you gonna do there anyway?
I was gonna get the same camera angle to see
Yeah.
how tall this person would have to be, if it's even possible to see a person there.
I think Ren still
was gonna
lives up
get-
in San
I was
Jose
gonna
if you
get
want them
footage
to pop up
outside.
into the window for you.
It's true.
Well, that was honestly one of the best episodes of Ren Files we've ever had. We got actual footage of Ren.
Yeah, we did. That's like the elusive
Really
Bigfoot
good.
photo there.
Really good.
Wow.
Um,
Hey, at least you all went on the ride with me, I guess.
yeah,
Anyways, I guess is it time to wrap up the episode then?
I think so.
Well, guys, that does it for this episode of Ghost Files Debrief. I know it was a long one, so thank you for bearing with us and staying with us here on the stream if you're watching live on WatcherTV. And if you're watching over on YouTube, I hope you're not as devastated as I am, and that you are happy that we made sure that we're telling the truth here. So,
And what do we got coming up next month?
next month we have what episode?
Where are we going
is
next
that?
month? Is it Key West already?
No, I believe it was Preston.
Oh, Preston Castle. Yeah,
Preston
yeah.
Castle. So
Oh, we got a couple more up there.
Yeah, we have Preston Castle. We have another episode. That one's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We just finalized the Preston episode with Ethan Ramos, who
That place is cool.
edited that episode. He did a great job, and we got some really cool stuff there too.
Hey, Ren in the comments said they'll buy you lunch.
It's okay, Ren. You don't need to do that.
No, I think you should accept that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, Preston Castle. You
Just
guys are gonna
Venmo
love that
him.
one. You guys are gonna love it. But again, thank you guys for joining us here, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh man. You better say something soon. 5.
Jerk.
Okay. Well, I mean, you weren't talking to me, so I don't know.
Come on, dude.
No, you come on. You weren't talking to me. I don't understand. This doesn't feel like I deserve that. I don't know if I'm a jerk. Do you think I'm a jerk?